Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to see what is happening with the Ocugen stock. Let's get right into it. So yesterday we took out this video where we spoke about how Ocugen, along with its Indian partner, Bharath Biotech, they submitted a master file for the vaccine that they've been developing. They're calling this vaccine as Covaxin. So they submitted a master file to FDA for EUA. EUA is nothing but emergency use authorization, where during this pandemic period, FDA has authority where they can approve vaccines that have not gone through full clinical trial, not gone through the whole safety standards. They can simply go ahead and approve the market. Once we took out the video, one of the viewers reached out and said that FDA has announced that they are not planning on doing any more emergency use authorizations moving forward. So we dug a little bit deeper to see what is happening on that. And surely, yes, there is an announcement that came out. So if you go into the FDA website and under the press announcement section, May 2021, there is this article that came out on the 25th of 2021, Coronavirus 19 update. And if you open this article, it's talking about, yes, there is a guidance. As noted in the guidance, for the remainder of the current pandemic, the FDA may decline to review and process further EUA requests other than those for vaccines whose developers have already engaged with the agency as described in the agency's guidance. So it is talking about, yes, not to approve any more EUAs in the future, but there are two clauses to this. One clause, the FDA may decline. So it's not a definite decline. The second aspect is it's talking about only declining those EUAs whose developers have not already engaged with the FDA or not has begun discussions with FDA. So there's already some information on this that yes, FDA has some leeway on that. Now, there are some other things that keeps Ocugen apart from that and immune to this guidance. Now, let's get into this one. The FDA, Yahoo Finance came out this article where it's also talking about FDA not going to review any more COVID-19 vaccines as discussed in this announcement, but there are a few other things. It's also talking about some other vaccines that have already received EUAs and other vaccines that are in the process of receiving EUAs. Like it's talking about Pfizer, Biotech, the Moderna, Johnson's, they already have EUAs. It's talking about Novavax, AstraZeneca, all these other vaccines from other countries as well. And in the end, it's also talking about Ocugen, how Ocugen submitted the file on the same day as the FDA guidance came out. So that's an amazing coincidence. Well, coincidence, that's something for us to interpret. But yes, guidance was issued on the same day that Ocugen had submitted in the master file for FDA. So that's something very interesting. But there are a few other things that keeps Ocugen apart. Now, even though it's talking about Pfizer, Johnson's, Moderna already receiving EUAs for vaccines in the US, but these EUAs have a selective limitation. Now, these are only be good for adults. So if you look into the recent news, Moderna has been talking about COVID vaccine testing of COVID vaccines in the teens. So that it's still under the test process, and it will also need to approach FDA for another EUA to use the vaccine for kids. Right now, the vaccines are only for adults. So this process will be going on because the whole pandemic, the whole process of vaccination has not been achieved. It's just begun. So that's something interesting to look into. The third aspect that keeps Ocugen apart from everyone else is Ocugen has more efficacy, which means that it has a more, in terms of killing the virus, in terms of defeating the virus, it has more power compared to the other vaccines. So that's something that keeps Ocugen apart. Now, there are some bear scenarios also, which we covered in the other video. Don't fully look into the positive aspect. When you are looking into companies, you should also play your devil's advocate. Now, let's come into this thing. It's talking about Covaxin continues to show strong results in the studies conducted to date, including a vaccine efficacy rate of 78% overall efficacy and 100% in severe COVID-19 diseases. So it has a good thing. Now, another thing that these are articles that came out from Ocugen in reply to the FDA guidance. So this is something coming out from the CEO of Ocugen, where he's talking about, since we have been in discussions with the FDA since last year. So if you remember, back in December, that's when Ocugen started the partnership with Bharath Biotech to create this COVID vaccine for the United States. We do not believe that the FDA's recent revised guidance regarding EUAs raises any concerns about our ability to submit the EUA for Covaxin as planned, which is currently in process and which we expect to submit to the FDA in June. Now, they were originally planning on doing it sooner, but they're putting it out for June just because of the pandemic issues that are happening in India. And right now, India has stopped all the export of vaccines outside of the country because they deemed the vaccines for themselves more than anything. We believe that the FDA's new guidance confirms that Ocugen continues to meet all criteria for submissions of an EUA. So that's an amazing thing. Now, there's one last aspect which keeps Ocugen apart from everyone. The Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson's vaccines, they came out way early. And the variants that we are listening to, talking about the Brazil variant, the first variant we came across was the UK variant, the Brazil variant, and now the most deadly or the most troublesome is the Indian variant. These variants came out after all of these vaccines had already come out. Covaxin or Ocugen's vaccine has been tested on these variants as well, which makes Ocugen's vaccine or Covaxin more stronger and more highly efficient in killing the virus. So let's come down to this. I keep saying killing the virus, it's actually creating immunity for the body against the virus. Scientists at the Indian Council of Medical Research, National Institute of Virology, using an in vitro plaque reduction neutralization assay, have found that Covaxin vaccinated effectively neutralized the Brazil variant, the UK variant, as well as the Indian double mutant variant. That keeps Covaxin on a different level against all the other vaccines that are available. With that, take care, stay safe, bye-bye.